Our fans are great. I don't know if we could do it without them. Well, I mean, we could, but they just help brighten up the atmosphere and just add to everything. On game days, they act like it's their game day. They act like they're personally going to be on the floor with us.
I just feel like every game, everyone has to put in everything. So whether you're on the bench or on the court, it's all or nothing. You go into every game, give it all that you got, no matter what you think the outcome's going to be. So I always try to be positive and look up because these girls are awesome.
What went right that kept this together the entire time to where you are now champions?
God just blessed us with just the right ability, and He knew we were missing something, so He came and brought us Gabby from West Memphis, and she just came right in.
It took a while, but I fit in pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing with Sarah Betts probably first, and then Sarah Burford and Annalie and Hope. I've played every sport with pretty much all of them. So I think just we've all stayed together because we knew that together we would be the best.
I think at a very young age we started, and then we kept our same goals and values all together, and we continued to love each other as we grew, and it's just been a really great experience. So it's been fun, and through fun we have had success. So
it's been a lot of the same mentalities, the same views, same goals, same morals, pretty much everything. We have a lot in common, and that's what helps makes our friendship so strong off the court, which transfers onto the court. So
I feel like if we didn't have the chemistry that we have, it wouldn't have been so great, because we're just when we're not on the court, we're pretty much all together anyways. I see them literally 24/7 since first grade, so still not tired of them.
Can any of you give me one characteristic about another person off the court that helped you to understand them on the court?
I feel like Sarah Burford is a very strategical person. So when she's on the court, I feel like I know, I can kind of get in sync with her, with what she's trying to do. I know it sounds crazy, but when she's going up to hit and I'm down to block, I feel like I know kind of where she's trying to go with this to try to see where I need to be off the block. I know it sounds crazy, but I've been with her enough that I feel like I know what she's gonna do.
I see it too. Sarah, she's smart with the ball. She puts it in the right place.
Sarah Betts, I know if it's gotta be with her. Everything's gotta be straight. Everything's gotta be forward. And if it's not, then it's not.
Sarah is kind of hard on herself, so I always on the court, she is off the court, but on the court I always try to pick her up, because I can tell she won't get really mad at us, but she'll get down on herself, and so we always try to just pick her up.
I think one word that describes everyone is loyal. We're all going to, we all stay true to each other. We're all loyal to each other. So we want to win the game for each other. So we stay loyal to our teammates, and that's what brings us to success.
I also think a word that would describe all of us would be determined. We're on and off the court, we don't leave a task unfinished. We do everything in our power to finish that task, whether it's staying up late to do homework, or whether it's being down in a game 0-2 and then building back up to get that 5-set win. I still remember the win in Cabot a couple years ago. We were down 0-2, they put it on us, but we came back and we won. We won that match, and because we were determined.
How much is that worth? Is there a number or a measurement you can put on that in this game?
I think it speaks a lot more about our character when you see people go out there and we realize that we're down, but they don't give up. Beasley's always saying, don't give up, don't just give it away to them, make them earn it. And I think it says a lot when we're down and we come out there and fight, even though we know that we are losing. It says a lot about our character.
Yeah, I just think that means more in all than our talents, in our ability to play, just us being so determined and loyal to each other. That really just means more than anything.
Moments like those are irreplaceable. It's hard to find a group of people or just an individual who will work that hard to achieve a goal, and to have all these girls sitting right here beside me to have that mindset, there's nothing like it.
When did it kind of click, hey, we're going to have fun, but we're going to do some major good in volleyball? When did it finally start to realize? Was it in 7th grade in those wonderful uniforms, or?
Well, like in 7th grade, we didn't even all play together in volleyball, but in basketball we did, and like we went undefeated in basketball. So I think even like that's not the same sport. I think that kind of showed us that like, yeah, you know, we can do something.
Also in 9th grade when they went, I didn't play because I was hurt, but they went undefeated and they like literally creamed everyone, like no competition. It was just kind of like, well, I guess you can only go up from here.
I remember in 7th grade, we went to go watch the high school team in their final game in the championship, the state finals in Conway, and I remember them sweeping that team and just looking down there on the court after it was all over with and just thinking, I want to be there one day, like that. I want to make this happen again. Just seeing the excitement and the joy and like the way the fans came together, that moment it clicked with me that this is what I need to do. So.
And I feel like it clicked our sophomore year when we were runner-up. I feel like we didn't think we could go that far.
Yeah.
Like, was it Greenwood? Greenwood were saying that they would crush us. You know, they didn't think we were worth it, and we beat them. And I mean, even though we lost in the finals, that was like, wow, like we can make this. Like we can do this. And so the last year, I mean, of course, we were determined and we won. So I think that's.
Yeah, no one thought that we could make it to the finals. Like this year, everyone was like, "See you at finals." Like sophomore year, no one thought we would make it
At all.
So it was really surprising for us.
How did you change their minds then?
I mean, I feel like we all knew we had the ability.
Yeah.
We didn't really have as much support as we were just a bunch of sophomores.
Yeah.
Some seniors. And we were just like, yeah, okay. I mean, we just didn't really think much about it. And then we got to the finals and we thought,
We were just like,
man, this is it. We made it this far.
The determination in that Greenwood game, I looked on every single one of their faces, and I knew that just hearing all the doubts and all the, like, it was even published in one of the newspapers that they published something along the lines of Marion shouldn't even be this far in the tournament, and just having that doubt set forward to us just made us even more determined to remove it from everyone's mind.
Let's talk about conference year from last year, because this is a story that you don't tell very often. Mountain Home isn't exactly known for being the most visitor friendly. How do you respond to that?
I think sometimes losing like gets us more motivated, because then we're like I don't know, we just work harder to beat them like the next time.
Sometimes I think we need a little loss to just kind of remember that, hey, we are beatable. Like when we lost to Batesville in the tournament, we were kind of like, we need to get it straight, and then we came back and killed Valley View.
By my accounts and by Chuck's, I believe, this group is undefeated in revenge games.
Really?
Yeah, because if you think about it, Mountain Home, you lose, and then you come back and sweep them here. North Little Rock, you lose there by a sweep, beat them by 4 here. This year, go to Valley View, lose in 4, come back here and wipe the floor with them.
Can we throw in that Russellville?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's tournament. You're right. There's tournament games. There's tournament games. You've got Russellville, and then they have an early exit because of a substitution error. I went there.
did forget about that.
So these revenge games, you talk about that being a motivation. Do you like the feeling of that motivation, or would you prefer to go undefeated?
You win some, you lose some. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, but I mean, it's what you do after that loss is what matters.
Yeah.
You know, you have to use that to motivate you. So I think the outcome of after a loss is better than just
It keeps
winning
us
all the time.
humble.
Yeah.
And as humans, you always need to be humble. So.
Yes, this was Diane's injury following the jamboree in Valley View. How well would you grade your response to that?
Yeah,
Out
I don't
of-
think we were. I mean,
It's not very high.
It wasn't very good.
yeah.
Okay, so but eventually you turned it around. What was that?
I think it just finally clicked. Like, you're gonna have to do this, and you're gonna have to find a way. You're gonna have to dig deep right here. You're gonna have to finish this.
We stopped making excuses for ourselves. We stopped saying,
Yeah.
oh, well, Diane's hurt. And we just realized that, hey, it happened. Eventually she'll be back, but until then, we have to do our part.
Right. We weren't certain about that, but luckily it was just a meniscus. So got lucky on that one. But obviously you've dropped quite a few sets there, and then you get to come back home. What was that feeling like, coming back home after 2 road trips that were that frustrating?
I can't really describe it. I mean,
Yeah.
you just feel so down,
So
and
much emotion
yeah,
going through.
you feel like you can get better, but then you kind of think, like, is this really what the season is going to be like?
Yeah.
You're just going to keep losing, even though you know you can actually do this. You can go all the way. It's just, to me, it was just really frustrating.
But like I had this feeling like, you know, it's always something about playing at home. We want to protect our house. And we do.
Yeah, that's right.
There's nothing stopping.
You've done really well at it.
Yeah.
31 game winning streak now. So you get back home, and then that was kind of the end of that, wasn't it? There wasn't a conference loss. You avenged Mountain Home and North Little Rock, and then the rest is history on that. I don't think you lost another set until North Little Rock, and then after that, you went through the entire tournament without dropping a set. Is there a particular story that stands out from last year's tournament?
We went to eat at this Italian restaurant, and Coach Williams, it was kind of late. We were all full. We were tired. We were ready to go to bed. And we all get on the bus, and we kind of noticed that the parking lot is a little bit tight. It's kind of hard to maneuver in a big bus because our bus is huge. So we're backing up, and it takes a little bit, and we kind of all start getting up and noticing that.
Say what we're surrounded by. We're surrounded by
Yeah,
a building,
a fence.
a car,
Yeah.
a dumpster, and a curb.
We're trying to curve around
What kind
the
of
building,
Italian restaurant is this?
and everyone on the left side looks out the window and there's this fence, and then we're like, so we kind of scraping it.
And
Now
so
we're close to the building.
But don't get the part.
when they got
Back on the bus.
We were laughing.
We thought it was
she got so
funny.
mad.
We all like crouched down in our seats. We're like biting our t-shirts so we wouldn't laugh at her.
She yelled at us.
We would all go to the back of the bus.
We were trying to take
We would all
pictures.
go to the back of the bus and like watch them as they're trying to figure this out. And then once they start coming back, we all like run to our seats.
Yeah.
The bus was like shaking.
Shaking.
But isn't that just a glimpse of your relationship with Coach Williams? We'll talk about Beasley later on, obviously, but Coach Williams, isn't that just a glimpse of what it's like to play for her?
Yeah.
Isn't it just, I mean, Annalee's mom just talks about how much y'all love to annoy her. And
Yeah.
so if you would talk about your relationship with her, Coach Williams.
Okay, so this is how I see it. When practice is not intense, Coach Williams, Sassy Shay, is good cop. And Coach Beasley is always telling her to stop talking to us.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
practice is intense, Coach Williams is
intense.
intense. That's a mild word. And Coach Beasley is just kind of, you know, she's intense too, but it's
Not as
like
much.
Coach Williams.
And she's always like joking around. Like she like makes fun of us.
She is
And-
always
yeah.
fun. She always makes my day better when I walk in the gym.
How much is she valuable to you when it's time to clock in 7th period?
To be honest, I love going to volleyball. Like, especially after a long day, it just like makes my day going to play and like seeing all our coaches and seeing y'all. It just makes my day even better.
You can't put a value on it. It's priceless.
That means a lot when you know somebody loves you, and it just means that much more when you're trying to work hard for something. It's just, I feel like I can work harder for them than somebody that just would be like, go get your stuff, come practice, and
Yeah.
just leave.
Without the relationship we have with them, we would not be where we are today or have gotten the things that we've gotten so far.
Can you put into words that experience of playing Greenwood in the 6A championship in Hot Springs?
It was flawless.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. It was amazing.
Yes.
It was amazing.
The mistakes that we made were like
Very few.
very, very few. Everybody was
everything
all
just-
in. Everybody was ready to work. Everybody was just
We knew
ready to
it was
go
our
out.
year.
It wasn't
Yeah.
that Greenwood wasn't a challenge. It was that that was our A game. That was everything we had was out there on the court. And a lot of people looked at the score and was like, well, that just means 6A isn't anything if they beat them by that much. But no, we just went out there and we performed. We played our game.
It's kind of like the year before. It's like everyone's first year to be like on that kind of stage. And then last year, we were like, oh, we've been
Yeah,
here.
we
This is
know
our
we-
year. Like, this is, like, this team is going to take it this year.
We were familiar with it.
So, you can tell me. Were you a manager sophomore year? What was the difference between sophomore and junior year through your eyes?
Through my sophomore year, I feel like everybody was nervous because nobody had been in that situation before. Then junior high, I feel like it was totally the opposite. Everybody knew that they were there for a reason. They were there to win.
And how proud were you for them and being a part of that? Because you have a really interesting relationship with them.
I do, yes. I was very, very proud. I cried. It was amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I had a totally different
We cried
feeling
before
our
the game.
junior year. Like, even before we even stepped in the arena, we were all, like, chanting on the bus before we
Yeah.
even got there. We were like, we were ready for this.
The locker room experience was different too. Like last year was so intense. I know we just had like a really long talk before, and there were like tears.
Yeah.
I feel like we just knew. Like
Yeah.
we were trying, or I was trying to lead the prayer, and I could not get through it. I just kept crying because I feel like I just something came over me that I just knew. And I know it sounds weird and cheesy, but it's just that feeling that you just know. Like, I don't know.
And I don't think they truly realize how beautiful it is, like, just to watch them. Like, it's just effortless. Like, when we're all in, we're all in. Like, we're, like, no one makes mistakes. Well, maybe a few, but, I mean, it's just on. Like, we are on
Serves.
it. And it's just priceless to, like, watch y'all on the court, because y'all dominate. Like, when all of y'all are on, y'all dominate. And I would put any other team across that.
I love it. I love, like, the flow that we have. And, like, I just feel like we're, like, invincible when we play.
And certainly we as a nation behind you feel that way as fans and spectators and family members. We see invincibility. But there's one thing I want to talk about because I've heard this story, and I'm curious to know where this is coming from. And you just brought it up with Greenwood. Allie brought it up before Valley View this year to me. She says, and I've heard the stories, that in the locker room there's crying. And we're not, that's not the goal here, I promise. But, you know, a lot of people before a big game are, you know, listening to Panic at the Disco and Usher and all this kind of stuff. I don't think this is usual, but it's worked, obviously. I'm not going to argue with it. What's that outpouring of emotion do for you before these big games like Greenwood and Valley
The
View?
last thing we've been doing lately before all our big games, or not just all our big games, any games, is we do a devotion. And I know last year before the state final game, we had a prayer and a devotion as well. So that has a lot to do with it.
I think the emotions just kind of reinforce that we're a family, we really are, and that every time we step out on that court, it's not for me, it's for them. Like, I want the success for them, not just myself.
I really do believe that we play with heart, and that's where the emotions come from.
This year has been really, really interesting, hasn't it? an entirely new setup on how you get to state. Suddenly, your conference overall is extremely difficult, and it doesn't seem to have phased you at all. I mean, the nights are longer, the weeks are longer sometimes. We have triple headers now. What kind of adjustment have you had to make for senior year to this new District 5A, 6A thing?
Like last year, sometimes we would play a hard game, but then we would have like a couple games that were like pretty easy or like not as difficult. But this year it seems like it's almost like back to back. They're like all gonna be hard, and like we have to be prepared for that. So I think like it's almost like we don't get a break really, and I feel like we got more of a break last year.
But that keeps us focused. It keeps our hearts true and our minds true to what we're trying to do.
I feel like it being our senior year, it's just all or nothing. Like, I mean, if it's not now, then when will it be, you know? So I feel like time running out is also motivates us, because we're like, we want our senior year to be worth it. And I mean, pretty soon we're not going to be on the team anymore, you know? But we'll always be a part of it.
So I think I know the answer to this. If you had the choice between 6A, 7A East of last year and 5A, 6A East of this year, which do you prefer?
I think 5A, 6A, because it's a lot more, like, not really, I mean, competitive. Like, when you get to state tournament, like last year, we played, like, so many easy teams that it was kind of like we hadn't really faced a lot besides, like, North Little Rock and Mountain Home. But this year, we're seeing, like, a bunch of, like, tough teams that are going to come at us with everything, and so we'll be prepared for state tournament.
How much have you had to adjust personally to this type of schedule and play? Because the turnaround's not as, it's a lot quicker. How much have you had to adjust individually maybe?
Well, my naps have definitely gotten a lot longer. That's the plus. My pregame naps are time.
Yeah, I feel like you have to like, I literally take less classes at the high school this year, but I feel like I have so much less time to do, like, work for, like, 2 classes.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like I have to, like, I feel like I have a lot more work at school, but I think it's because we have to, like, cram it in before or, like, stay up late doing it after the game.
This year, having gone through all of this, the success has been there. Came out like gangbusters, and we're steamrolling teams pretty much. And then that Valley View game. This is one that I know that I don't even like talking about it. You're up 1-0, 17-17, and then one of the things that you pray never happens. When you go down like that on the floor and you know something is wrong, what's the thought process? Or is there one?
Like before that, like I'd never really been hurt really. Like I've never like gone down in a game or something. Like I've seen other people do it, but like personally I haven't. So when it happened, I was just I guess I was just scared because I didn't really know, like I didn't know what it was. And so then like really just when it first happened, I was just scared. But then after, I was like, we were in the training room and I was just like, can you get me back out there? Like I at least want to go watch.
I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary because I remember when I went down and I was just praying, like, do not let that happen to Allie. Like, let Allie be able to come back and finish out the season with us because she's, like, a key part to our team and, like, we needed her.
I know we gathered in a huddle real quick and said a quick prayer for her, too. Just pray for her safety.
And how much does it take from you to put that out of your mind? Because the game doesn't stop, right? How difficult is it to put that out of your mind?
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I think that's probably one of our biggest downfalls about playing with so much love for one another is when something like that happens, it really messes everything up. You almost can't function. It's almost like you can't put it out of your mind. It's just all you can think about.
But at the same time, we knew we would have to continue to play, if not for Allie, to we knew that we still had a job to do, and that if we didn't do that job, we would be letting ourselves down, our team down, we'd be letting Allie down, we'd be letting everyone down. So that was also.
But when you saw her come back, how did you feel?
It's kind of relieving because it was like she's like kind of walking. Like hopefully it would be not as serious. She'd be back in like a week or two. So it's kind of like just get through this game and then we'll be ready for Allie to come back.
And we could see her smile, which also helped a lot.
Yeah.
Like she came out there trying to get over there so quick. She was just going. She's like, "Come on, we gotta go."
It's like as soon as she went down, like everything, every doubt, everything that we wish wouldn't happen, happened. Like, oh my gosh, like, is she going to be here throughout the season? Is she going to help us? Like, is she going to come back? Is she going to be there for the championship? You know, like anything, any farther that we go, like we were like, what if she's not there? Like, what are we going to do? And it's like, if it happens at that very moment in the middle of the game, it's hard to get that all out of your mind. Like, because you have everything running through your mind and trying to play the game. So it was very hard.
But then you go to Paragould, and I've never seen anything like that in my life. A pep band at a volleyball game. A student section that just kind of took over. That first set, was that a little bit of a lag from Valley View, or was that more of an adjustment to the environment in Paragould?
I feel like we're just kind of trying to adjust without Allie being there because
We had some good players.
Yeah.
It was an adjustment to everything.
Yeah.
And obviously by set 2, you adjusted very well. You had Lillian doing a lot of setting. Destiny had stepped up. How much confidence does it give you seeing that these people can fit in case that happens again?
at first it was really weird because we've never really been without each other there. It's always been everyone there. But when they started placing them in, it was kind of like trying to get a feel for them, trying to see what they get, what they don't get, and then, like you said, that second set is kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And it just kind of clicked in.
And in Valley View, Maggie, you went in. I think you were the initial substitution for that, weren't you? So what did that feel like?
It was very overwhelming, just because like I had never played, in a varsity set before, and it was very overwhelming. But I knew that I had to step up because like I didn't want to let anybody down. So it was a huge step up. But all I know is I'll leave it all on the court, wherever I go.
Obviously, you finished that story by sweeping Valley View at home, and then there's that smile. Yeah. How much?
Oh, it's great. It's always something about Valley View and Marion. You never could go either way.
Okay, so with Mountain Home kind of off to the side now, has Valley View filled in that gap for you? I guess you can kind of say this now because y'all are done playing them. For you, did they fill in that gap, or did it get relegated down to someone else, Jonesboro maybe, or
I feel like we Valley View.
Yeah.
Me too.
right? Because when you beat them, it really means something, right? Okay, that's a respect thing, right? Is there any other word to describe how that rivalry is between you and Valley View? Is it respect?
We're two powerhouses, and when two powerhouses go up against each other, you see true colors start to show.
Yeah. Like they're 5A state champs, we're 6A.
Yeah.
You
It
find
was
out-
definitely a powerhouse.
You find out what each team is made of and what each individual on that team has to put together, and it shows a lot.
Because at home you have all your fans there. Like, it's almost packed out every time we play, especially on big games. And so we don't want to let them down. So
It's taking pride in what we have and taking care of that. So.
How much do you think it affects opponents? Because I can see it now. I'm not sure that I quite believed it at first. But how much would you like or not like to play as an opponent in there?
I would not like
You would
to
not
play
like
there.
No, not at all.
So that makes you really happy to play in there, right?
Yeah.
Because no matter who we're playing, that's always a motivation. Like, this is our home court. We protect our house. Like, we protect what we have. We take care of it.
So along with the streak of 31, there's a big number that came up this year, 500. You were the squad that got Coach Beasley to 500 wins. How does that feel? Because when they look that stat up, they're going to see Sarah Betts, Annalee Parker, Sarah Burford, Maggie Orelli, Gabby Catt, Hope Phipps, Allie Bermucci, manager Bo Triplett. That number is huge. And you were the one that got it. How is that something you tell your grandkids one day, or how do you approach that accomplishment?
She deserves it.
Yeah.
She does.
And it's
She
the
puts in a
least
lot
we
of
can
work.
do for her is to give her that.
So talk about your relationship with her then. Because if you say that's the least you can do, what kind of relationship is conducive to that being the least that you can give someone?
We're
She
kind of like
gives
her.
us everything.
We're kind of like her little children. Like she loves
Yeah.
us with like everything.
I remember "Make Mama Proud" being said a few times.
Yeah.
She's with us on and off the court. She's involved in every aspect of our lives. We can tell her anything and know that it's going to be kept confidential, and she'll help us in whatever we need her to.
Yeah, like if something bad happens, she'll be there to support you.
Yeah.
She's the backbone.
She's there through everything.
That's true.
She's great.
Is there any scenario in which you can imagine having to do this without her?
No. I don't think
I don't think we
think we would want to. Actually, I know we
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
want
a family if it wasn't for her. Like she's the
Yeah.
mama of
She's
the
the one
fam.
who brought the term
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
She brought
I've-
us family. She brought us all our values. Like, she reinforces our values. She reminds us of what our goals are and what our morals should be. And
I've played for other coaches outside of school, and there's nothing like Coach Beasley. She's
No other
literally
coach
one
is
of a
the same.
kind.
Cares like she does.
Yeah.
I feel like she always uses the right words at the right moment. Like,
Yes.
Isn't that invaluable?
her and her quotes, like her quotes
Oh, yeah.
are the best thing. Like, I remember, I don't know if it was before or after. I'm thinking it was before the semifinals last year when we were going into it with Russellville, and she gave us this quote. It was kind of like a story, and it was about like a flock of geese.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like how us as a family, like we had taken a picture earlier that year as a V, you know, and we're that flock of geese, and when one falls, we all go down. Like we all pick that goose up, that person up, like. And I don't know, that's just that really touched me, and I really liked that.
it's like the quotes and like the things she does with the popsicle sticks that help remind us and bring us back to earth in times that we need to be brought back.
I know we were talking about those like long nights when we're coming back. We really don't want to play. We have 3 games per week, but I know that when we're facing Valley View and I'm tired, my body's hurting, I'm just not mentally all there. I really want to give it my all because of her.
She gives her all, and she never gives up or loses faith.
Yeah, I think she keeps us all motivated, like all the time.
We've had the ceremony for her, and now we have to have one for you. A night that you've probably had in the back of your mind for close to 3 years now. What do you expect that night to be like on Thursday?
Emotional,
Full of
tearful.
Emotional, yeah.
I just like never really thought that it would happen. Like I've like been to senior nights for other people and like decorated and stuff, but I never thought that like it would actually be ours.
It's one of those things that you just go through the motions of like every year. Like, yeah, we went to football senior night, we went to this senior night, went to this senior night, and it's kind of one of those things that you just think never happens to you, but then you wake up and realize that it's this week, and it's just like, whoa, like,
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
really
like-
feel
you say
like.
you're a senior, but you really don't believe it until
I
you're
still
done.
feel like a sophomore.
Yeah.
Like the other day, we were talking about something, and they're like, well, so-and-so's a young team. I was like, yeah, we're a young team too. And then I looked, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I still feel like we are.
So sad.
Do you realize yet how much you have been prepared for the real world by volleyball and Coach Beasley and everything that goes with it?
I don't think
Raised us right.
I don't think we'll really like completely realize it until we're actually like out there, like in the real. I mean, I
We
guess
know
in
we
the real
have to
world.
make Mama proud in everything we do.
You got a whole town on your shoulders now you got to make proud. But Mama, definitely. And I guess the final question is, with volleyball almost done, did you have fun?
Oh,
Yeah. For sure.
What was the most fun about this experience over the past, you could probably even take it back to third grade. So over the past 11, 12 years, can each one of you tell me what was most fun about this experience being a Lady Patriot volleyball player?
I don't go that far back.
I mean,
Okay, fine. For the past 3 years.
I think the most fun is probably just being able to play with all of them, because, I mean, probably without all of them it wouldn't have been as fun, like if I didn't have such good friends to do it with.
I think it's the off the court moments just as much as on the court, because off the court they can be pretty funny and stupid, and it's always fun.
Having that feeling that your heart's full because of what you've been able to experience and be a part of.
It's going to be a really big readjustment, you know, going off to college, like not seeing them every day. Like, I mean, we're going to be separated. Like, I know some people are going to different colleges, you know, and that's really going to be a big readjustment, because you're like, wow, like I don't have them here for me, you know, but they're always going to be there for me, you know, 100 miles away, wherever they are, you know. But it's going to be hard with them not physically here, but you know they'll always be there for you.
Yeah, you definitely don't speak that one.
It's kind of funny. I've never really had to, you know, like go out and make friends. I've always had them, and going to college has been a new experience, because I mean these have always been my people. This is my rock right here, and
I know sometimes they understand me better than I understand myself. And that sounds so weird, but it's like
So true.
like it's so true. Like I know every single one of them like the back of my hand, and I know they know me like the back of their hands.
I think going back to what Hope said about, you know, us always having each other, I feel like no matter how far I go, I can always have a home to come back to. You know, I'll always have Coach Beasley, and she's really the mom who doesn't get credit for being the mom. And I'll always have sisters, and I'm an only child, so that means a lot to me.
Bo, did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun.
Like, you know how they say, like, I'm sorry, I did not mean to. Sorry. I've heard, like, you know, like people say, like they don't really reconnect with their friends after high school, but I feel like we would.
But you reconnect with family.
Right.
I can promise you that group chat, we message it almost every day, will still be lighting up every single day in college.
Sarah's going to change the name of
Sarah Betts.
Every time the
College
freshmen.
freshman. College freshman.
I think it was graduation night. I changed it to seniors.
Yes.
Once a Patriot, always a Patriot. Family.